Life is exactly this fragile, and it's exactly these thousands and millions of little chances that sometimes coincide and create these tragedies. Not to say that some of these may not be prevented, but you can't prevent life from unfolding itself. I will say it like this. When you do look at the situations, whatever the reason is for the loss of your child or a loved one, try to catch yourself and remind yourself that A, you're not your thoughts when you go into this, and B, maybe you can come to this conclusion. Okay, it happened. These were some of the reasons, some of the factors, some of the coincidences that happened. And it may even be also coincidences or factors that have played out over years that then ultimately lead to that, to that moment of where it happened. So I think it's okay to look at it. You just be careful about not getting lost in it. And then also not, starting to blame yourself, blame others, blame the person who died. I think each family, each person involved does dwell then on the mechanisms of the death, how it occurred. I think it's okay to look at it. You just be careful about not getting lost in it. And then also not, starting to blame yourself, blame others, blame the person who died. Because ultimately we all try to do our best and do our, best on living and make our choices. So be careful about starting the blame, and be forgiving if you find something to be blamed for. Sometimes things just happen, and that's the way it is, so to say. I found music to become important. I think music can be helpful. I would also give the same advice. Don't get lost in it, because you will trigger emotions, and it can help you, I don't want to say breed, but walk you through your emotions and allow you to go deeper in your emotions, because sometimes you have to allow this utterly ridiculous loss, and it's difficult. And sometimes with the music, you can reach deeper and go down another layer, and then, the emotions may pop out and you can live through them to allow them in this case. It asks the big questions of life, so what is life for? Was that it? Will we see the person again? What do we believe happens after death is opened. This whole chapter is opened. And if you haven't thought about this in your life at this, when it happens to you, then this will directly slap the topic in your face. And it's difficult on top of the loss, because you are reminded of your own mortality. You're reminded of the mortality of everybody around you. So we never know, and this losing somebody slaps this topic right in your face and kind of makes you deal with it, because else you have to shove all this away. And we're pretty good at this as humans, of shoving stuff away and not looking at it again. This is insane to believe that we're the creators of all of our content of our life, and to believe in this stability of the universe, for that matter, for the life around us. It's not like this. And we hear other people having accidents and things happening, good and bad, and we always, or in this case, it's always like I was happy, everything was going well in my life, so to say, and then bam, this happens. It throws this question right at you. What do you believe in? What is it with life? What's the purpose of life? What do you believe happens after life? And you can look at that, and it can be a very healing and fulfilling exercise, so to say, to go through and look at it and question yourself. If you are a member of a church or a belief, you can double check on it and see if that gives you support, like the Christian belief of, well, we might see each other again in heaven. And that can be really soothing for you if you understand what it means and how it's meant, and that the loss is temporary in the sense that you have to be patient until you can meet again. There's other religions. I can talk a little bit about Buddhist or Hindu. This belief of reincarnation or rebirth. This consciousness is not lost. It's, transferred into a new life. And in that sense, since we're all connected, there's never a real loss, but we only feel this loss because we're kind of attached to ourselves, if it makes any sense. I think the healing is a process that everybody goes through in their own pace and in their own style. If, like ourselves, you have, other children, do touch base with them and talk about it, because what I just described, they also are going through. We have two other sons, one is older and one is younger. And it is, and I can only sense it because I haven't had this experience. For like a 15-year-old or 20-some-year-old, this is a stiff blow to endure, to lose your brother in this case. Be there for them, talk about it, help them articulate it, help them with information, give you views that they also clear that you're thinking about it. Yeah, offer them opportunities to remember rituals that you have done in the past, to just that person who was lost, to still be present and do that, so that they can talk about it. And I think the kids also, the younger kids, and maybe even the older, the 20-year-olds, they also go to their friends and kind of touch base and build their support network in their peer group, because like at teenage years, you may not talk with your parents despite having a good relationship with them about everything that you might talk to somebody at your age. So I think it's maybe also natural that they will look for other channels. But be sure to touch in with them. Between wife and husband, it's I can't tell you how difficult it is for the mother to lose their child. It's exponentially more horrific to me. And when I put myself in the shoes of my wife, it's just I implode, so to say, because it's even more unbearable. Because ultimately, she created him, and he lived with her inside the first couple of months, and fostered him and took care of him, more directly in the younger years. Be there as much as you can for your wife. Talk about it also there. You can also seek, support jointly to discuss it. I think I want to close with a thought on life and death in general. Let's be clear. Death starts the moment you are created. Because if you really look at it and understand it correctly, life is nothing but little death. We don't stay the same. I believe the statistic is within 7 years, every cell of our body has been renewed. And the whole cosmos is ever changing. The Earth is spinning around its own axis. It's spinning around the sun on its trajectory. And everything is in motion. Everything is always changing. And inside your body, everything is changing. And believing or thinking everything is stable is a true illusion. And in that sense, these losses are natural, but as I say, in the human experience, they're unbearable, because that's who we are. We care. Children, this is the ultimate. We're programmed to reproduce and then foster our children and protect them, and then to lose them is just beyond speech how this loss hurts. And to move on from that is a difficult feat. We humans take care of our children a long, long time till they move out. It's years. It doesn't get much closer than that. Your partner, of course, families, but the child is so close. There's so many moments, and it's just this effect of it stopping is just very difficult. But that's life. You need to look at death to understand life. And it's painful. We avoid that pain, but that is it. If you look around and you pay attention closely, it's always life and death, or changes, you can call it that. It's ever changing.